the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, the Cuban Revolution. Huh? But Buddha is the one, only one in the history of mankind who did a revolution with compassion and non-violence. Please understand. There's nobody in the history of mankind. Every other thing, even in Sri Lanka, we did a war, Cuba, Russia, French, all the social reform change was done with a war, World War I, World War II. But Buddha did a social reform. He changed a nation. He changed people, not with arms, not with weapons, not with anger, but completely with compassion and loving kindness. When he was born, education, everything, social status, only belonged to one group of people. What do we call them? Brahmins. Huh? They were the highest. There was a caste system. Every other human being born into a different caste was lower to them. So Buddha says that cannot be. Because as long as we are human beings, we should be all equal. So he said that even education, science were not accessible to all people in India. It was only allowed to Brahmins, or in Australia. If they say, okay, all migrants, they cannot go to university, they should do all their stuff, finish at TAFE. Would we like it? No. Because we love Australia, because all opportunities are there for everybody. So like that, Buddha changed that social structure in India, and he's the one in the history of mankind who said, no, education, privileges, benefits, if you are a human being, we all should have that. He never used riots, he never used, what is the university technique? What do you call that? Upavasa. He never did that. After Buddha's demise, for many centuries in Southeast Asia and in the world, there were no wars because of Buddhism. No record of war happening in this area of the world, simply because his teaching. And when Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, the first president of India, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, they got Nobel Peace Prize for what? For compassion and for their non-violent movements. Who invented that? Buddha. But Buddha didn't get a Nobel Prize. Isn't it? So has there been any find out other religions who did this? When you grow up, how these religions were so popular in the world, how they become so popular? Not because they say, okay, I will kill you if you don't. The whole of Maldives, it was a Buddhist country before the immediate neighboring country in Sri Lanka. The Maldives was a Buddhist country. King became Muslim and said, everybody should be Muslim, otherwise you're going to get punished. So the whole country became Islamic. That's how their religion was spread. But in Buddhism, we don't press our religion on others. Buddha never preached Dhamma to convert people. When he was preaching, people realized, they understood, and they followed. Buddha didn't say, okay, you come to my religion, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you that. No, never. So in that way. This loving kindness and compassion changed a nation, changed the world after Buddha. So it was a very beautiful thing. When now as Buddhists, now in Tibetan Buddhism, in the Mahayana Buddhism, compassion is a very big thing. So when China occupied Tibet, a lot of Tibetan lamas were put into prison. So there was this particular prisoner who was a lama who came to say, "Why you are laughing? Something happened?" Okay. So it's okay to be funny here for a reason. Okay. So so he came and Dalai Lama asked. I heard this from Dalai Lama on some YouTube as well. I think, I don't know. So he said, for 20 years. Did they treat you and were you okay? And he said, to His Holiness, I was compromised many times, but I was so worried that I will lose. Then Dalai Lama asked, what do you think? What do you mean that you got compromised? He said, for the past 19 years, I was very worried that I will not be able to be compassionate to my enemy. So all that time, he has practiced compassion and loving kindness, even all those hardships and difficulties inside the prison. He was maintaining loving kindness and compassion. Buddha is somebody always who said, never go into extremes. Buddha said that. Except in one situation, Buddha says, if you want to practice something extremely, practice patience. Can you do that? To extent, Buddha says, if you want to practice patience, if somebody cuts your arms and legs, it's called Kapachupama Sutra. Buddhist teaching comes, if somebody is cutting your arms and legs, try to radiate loving kindness and be compassionate to that person. So you might ask, doesn't it look lame, just to be patient and, why do we have to bear up all these bullies and, you have to hit back, we have to punch back. You should understand, not in that way, it doesn't mean that we should show our bravery, but if you see a better outcome, rather than fighting for it, if you can see a better outcome, if you can see benefits, it's good to be patient all the time. So Buddha said, you might say it's very lame, if somebody is hitting you, you just, be like a coward and, retreat is not good. That's how we think. But Buddha says, if you be patient and if you bear it up, because you are not being angry to another person, because you are going to maintain that compassionate thought, your samsara, your future life, your life in the bigger picture is going to be brighter. You fight now because you don't want to be lame and you don't want to be a coward. What is the outcome? You might go into prison. You might be taken into custody, things like that. So patience is very important.